on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. We gotta walk. Look at this.
Is she in DC? Where you at?
I'm in Portland.
No, great. This is the second time someone has joined a Sacramento radio station just walking around the streets of Portland. This is tremendous. Can I be the first to point out your hair looks magnificent?
Thank you.
We made sure that. You have a date tonight? Like what's jumping off tonight?
Nothing, just you guys.
Oh,
man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
You're doing the damn thing right now, girl.
You know what it is. I can't even barely wash and dry my own hair, so the one thing that I'm entirely incapable of.
So
we played basketball long enough. I'm walking to the office.
To the office.
The salon is right around the corner from the Odyssey office.
Oh, okay.
Tell our guy, yeah, get him on the show.
Who am I tag teaming?
Your boy Jeff. Tell our boy Jeff what's good.
I told you guys that story about how I met him last summer, and Jeff, program director in Portland, former program director in Sacramento. So we start talking, and he's like, "So yeah, Portland girl, you went to Oregon? Like, I'm really surprised. Like, we never crossed paths, and I didn't try to hire you. Like, you're so talented. I love what you guys do for you and D'Lo, Casey. I love it. Blah blah." And I was like, "Actually, I did try to work here once." And he goes, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah, I put in to do the whole and this is your 11:37 update. Like, Portland Trailblazers fall to the LA Lakers 102. Blah blah blah." And I was like, I was told that I didn't have enough reps. So I don't know who the program director was then, but they curbed me pretty hard. They said I was too green. And I was like, "When did you come on?" And he was like, 2001 or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, that was you." And I was like, "Oh."
Well, at the time, maybe he wasn't, in the office. And, what's the word in the office? Is all, it changes things, what you hear in the hallways. And
Exactly. I said, he was like, "Man, I think I made a big mistake." And I said, "Me too." Or maybe not, because I am on a national show. And
it'd be easy,
not on a Portland show.
Catch your breath. Yeah, chill, relax.
If he comes by, tell him we said what's up.
Our man PDX. PDX indeed. Get comfortable, girl. That man, you are committed to this show.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. We love that.
To no other show but you guys.
Whilst you're getting ready, I'll lay it out. Much like the Heat Check, the latest episode of the Heat Check, I think there's another apology you need to hand out.
Who am I supposed to apologize to?
Jaime Jaquez.
What did I say about him that was so wrong?
You didn't want him.
No, I didn't want
and the Blazers, then you should have made that deal, because now it's looking, well, you tell me. It feels like it's looking funny. Maybe you got some kind of draft pick here and there, but you come away with Ayton and Brogdon. You could have had a Jaime Jaquez and more draft picks.
We also got Tumani
and Tyler Hero.
We also got Tumani Kamara. We don't want Tyler here. That's the whole point, Casey, is we already have Anthony Simons, who's not a 1A. You think Tyler Hero on this team helps us at all? It does not help us at all.
Anthony. You trade Anthony. You get Anthony out of there.
We don't want either one of those guys. Anthony Simons, Tyler Hero, same, really.
Could have had
Jaime Jaquez for Dame Lillard is not an appropriate trade.
So Brogdon is?
I didn't like the Brogdon move either. I didn't make that trade. It was not binary to me. I would have loved to trade Drew Holiday. I don't know who it would have been to, honestly. Maybe Philly. Trade Drew Holiday to Philly and try to get, but you're not getting Maxey. So who are we really getting? We're getting Tobias Harris? That doesn't help us. I don't know. We need picks and young players. There's not a lot of good options. Maybe trade Drew Holiday to Orlando, like make him woefully unhappy on an expiring Orlando, even though they're not a great franchise historically. They're not going for that. The deals that were out there for Dame just weren't very palatable. You did get better picks from Milwaukee because let's be honest, like they're close. They're on the edge, both those boys. Like Dame and Giannis, you can see the soul draining from their face with every Doc Rivers coaching appearance. Those first round picks are going to be more valuable than the Miami Heat picks. What's going on over there? Much more dysfunctional than what's going on in Miami in 2027.
Miami was probably the best deal, and they didn't trade him there out of spite.
But also think about this. This as a long-term Portland Trailblazer fan since I was 6 years old, do you really believe that the Portland Trailblazers developed Jaime Jaquez into what he is right now?
I mean, I think he's a good ball player. He would have done well.
That's a fair question.
It is, but I don't think Miami made Jaime Jaquez. I think he's a good
but
ball
I think
player.
they put him in a position to thrive. Like, would he be in that same position in Portland?
Yeah, and how they used him, right? There was a big article, I want to say either in The Ringer or The Athletic, where they talked about how they've worked with Jaime and the player development staff specifically put him on certain spots on the floor to utilize him to his best abilities. He's in the corner, but he's attacking from the corner. He's not just a spot up 3-point shooter. Okay, let's take player development out of it. Let's put Chauncey Billups right into the hot seat. Do you think Chauncey Billups is getting the most out of Jaime Jaquez?
Don't make me go against Chauncey. I like Chauncey.
Yeah, I don't. And the answer is no.
No, why don't you like
Well, I don't dislike Chauncey. I just don't have any allegiance to Chauncey.
And Jaime Jaquez was crying in tears during Summer League, thinking that Portland would trade for him. He did not want to go to our city. So do you think an unhappy Jaime Jaquez with no player development staff to the same caliber as Miami? Because that's what they do. They find guys off the streets, undrafted guys, and they turn them into useful players and they flip them, right? You saw that with Max Strus. You saw that with Gabe Vincent. You see that with even Omar Yurtseven. Most of these guys, like, they come from nothing and they build them up to something. Jaime Jaquez, 4-year player, multiple good teams at evaluating talent passed on him. And then Miami does what Miami does. They find a guy that's perfect for their system and they develop him appropriately. I do not think that Portland turns Jaime Jaquez into this. And Jaime Jaquez should be completely excited that Portland didn't do that because he's probably not seen as a top 3 player in this draft.
Fair enough. I will say this, though. I did see today, and this isn't an indictment on them at all or anything. It was just interesting. I saw there were multiple resale tickets to the Blazers Heat tonight going for $1. You should go, Trysta. I don't think you'd sit where the seats are, but yeah, $1. I'd be up in that thing so quick.
Yeah, you would. You'd be on the floor though. It'd be Kenny with his feet on the hardwood. It doesn't matter. He'd have a hookup by somebody. I turned down going to the Nuggets Blazers game because there was no Scoot and there was no Shaden, even though it was Jokic. I didn't care. I don't want to be in. Do you know how painful this is? I mean, you guys know. You guys know better than anyone.
Yes.
No clue. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what Portland's going through right now. Not at all.
It's so tough. This is the worst. I went through our records last night, and it's the worst we've ever been since I've been alive. We have 15 wins. We'll probably get to like 20 wins maximum. We got waxed to the Charlotte Hornets. They were up like 20 points on us, and they're a 14-win basketball team. This is a team that is, the players are better, but I was looking back at like 2005 when we won like 26 games, and it was like Steve Blake and like, oh my goodness, Jarrett Jack. No shade to Jarrett Jack. I like Jarrett Jack as a player. But it was Joel Prisbilla. It was Zach Randolph. No shade to Zach Randolph. Zebo was a beast. But like the team itself, as you look, Kings, as you look down the roster, you're like, there's nothing for me to be excited about right now. At least there's players that you're thinking, okay, I hope that the vision is headed somewhere. But it's not fun to watch games, and it's certainly not. I don't want to go into Moda Center. I watched Bill Burr at Moda Center on Saturday night, and the Nuggets played the next day. I did. Bill Burr was awesome, by the way. Really catered it towards Portland, made Portland folks very uncomfortable. It would be perfect for you, D'Lo. You would have been in there dying because he's like, I thought everyone in Portland was so progressive. You don't want to hear this. Anyway, I'm thinking to myself, this is the last time I'll be at the Moda Center for a long time because I'm not coming in there for a Blazer game.
Hey, real quick. Sorry, Damien. Who was the guy that helped Zebo beat up Ruben Patterson? What was it? Quintel Woods?
Yes, it was Quintel Woods.
Yeah, they
Well,
felt-
good pull. That's a good pull. Wow,
Quintel Woods. I think
Woods.
he came out of JUCO. I don't think he came out of high school. I think he came out of JUCO.
Darius Miles is on that team too. Darius Miles. Wow.
They held him like Saturday night's main event. They said Quintel had Ruben
Oh,
held
no.
like this, and Sebo socked him in the face.
Jeez. Came through like the honky tonk man with the guitar and the macho man and just drilled him. Who did you? So I guess I'm an episode behind. Who did you apologize to?
Oh, everybody. Trey Young, Cade Cunningham, Brandon Miller.
Oh,
Brandon Miller. That's the one.
Oh,
I was like, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brandon
Why?
Miller.
Well, she kind of apologized. She kind of apologized. She like said,
that
I
shows
apologize, and then said, anybody that says he's going to be Paul George is smoking crack.
Oh, well, all right.
No, I said anyone who says that he is Paul George or is going to be Paul George, and thus you have to trade LaMelo Ball because he's turning into Paul George, is smoking crack. Because this is like and I love Tony Jones, but that was like an absolute hot take machine. I didn't hear the whole quote, and it might have been taken out of context. But what are the rules in Charlotte that you can only have one franchise marquee player? Like, just because Brandon Miller is emerging as a rookie, you must trade a pass first and scoring point guard who can dime him up and put him in good situations. Like, I know that he's been injured, LaMelo Ball, but you can't have two guys that complement one another. The whole reason they took Brandon Miller was to complement him with LaMelo Ball. That was the reason that they didn't take Scoot. So you're saying you need to trade LaMelo just because Brandon Miller is playing better than expectations? What are we effing talking about here?
Yeah.
Probably need to trade LaMelo Ball before he asks you to trade him. It could be.
That's a different story. But that whole thing, and especially considering, okay, if his absolute ceiling is Paul George has never been a 1A. He has even been on the record to say, I am not 1A. I am 1B, and a very good 1B. And I probably also need a 1C. Hence the going to the Clippers to play with Kawhi Leonard and having to trade for James Harden. Let's be serious. Couldn't make it work in Indiana. Had to get up out of there because they wouldn't trade for AD, which I totally understand. Fine. Go to OKC. Him and Russ, not enough. Dame Lillard ends that franchise's hopes with those two together. That team breaks up. I mean, okay, so if Brandon Miller is best case scenario, Paul George, you don't think you should surround him with more talent? Be serious, Tony Jones. Be serious, Tony Jones.
You know, I don't like Trista's tone when she talks about Paul George. That's my boy.
I mean, we had Paul George be, you know, when you go into those small Marriott hotel rooms at Disney World, and like that's that tiny little spot between the bed and the wall. That's where Paul George was laid out in the bubble. That's where he was.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not okay.
Don't like
do
the
that.
tone with Paul George, man. Don't do
Paul
that to
George
my boy,
alone.
man. Don't do that to my boy, BG.
That was excessive.
Fresno State, stand up, man.
Where's my whistle?
Wait. Oh, I got you. Well, that whistle's more for plausible offenses.
Yeah, we need another whistle. We need a mean whistle.
A personal foul.
Bulldogs and the Valley champs, man.
I don't know what you're talking about. Jaime Jaquez either. He looked like a superstar of superstars last night at the Golden One Center.
He's good, man. He's really good. His footwork is incredible. You know, I was talking to a friend who is a player development guy. Like, he doesn't work for a team, but he's one of those guys that, you know, like you see him doing mixtapes and stuff in the summer. And I asked him, I said, this was maybe 3 years ago. This was when UCLA was it the Final Four? It was 2021. And I asked him that year, and I was like, who's your favorite college player that no one's talking about? And he's like, Jaime Jaquez out of UCLA. He's going to be really, really good. I think he was just a sophomore at that point. And I think there's a discounting of players who play 4 years in college because they feel like they're already baked and we already know how good they could possibly be. And so potential and upside is a big reason that kids get drafted. And I think Jaime Jaquez shows, like, if you are a team that's wanting to compete right away, a 4-year player is a good option to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lakers would love Jaime Jaquez.
I'm glad he didn't go there.
Me too.
You love the Lakers.
I don't know.
Okay.
See, now you got
TK know what it is.
Trysta saying it.
Lake Show.
TK know what it is. TK,
He's
know
wearing a
what it
Los
is?
Angeles shirt
What?
right now.
It's not even Los Angeles.
No, it's
I
his
didn't
way of
see that
covering
though.
it up.
Yeah.
Way of covering it up.
They be doing me dirty on the
Can
show,
you-
bro, I tell you.
Can you explain the ups and downs of the Kings season? They are just it, man. I'll be straight up with you, TK. We were on top of the world yesterday. Kings beat the Clippers. First time they beat the Clippers this year. Won 3 in a row. Both games out of maybe they're turning the corner. Maybe they're coming out the gate just like they did last year. And then you've got these suspensions and these injuries, and you've got a couple of starters out. You got a couple of rotational players out. You got like 7 guys at a big watch party just having a blast, watching the Kings Heat.
Damn.
And Kings go down by 20, fight back, still wind up losing by double digits.
That was a classic. From a betting perspective, that was a classic sleepy spot. That's an overlook the Heat with nobody's plan. I was talking to a friend about this, and I said, my favorite bet tonight is Heat +7. They could actually win this game. And my friend said, no Tyler Hero, no Josh Richardson, no Terry Rozier, no Jimmy Butler. It's just Bam and Jaime Jaquez. What are they going to do? This Kings team just beat the Clippers. Didn't you guys just beat the Nuggets? Oh my God. I said, no. This is a classic look over this team spot. And was it second night of a back-to-back? That's all it is. Don't worry about these Kings. They're right around the same team as they were last year, but the West is just much better. They're 3 seed pretty much the entire season. Now you're a 7 seed, you're a 5, you're a 7. There's one game separating 5 to 8. You could be a 5 any day. Tomorrow, next day, you could be an 8 any day. Tomorrow, the next day. So don't fret, Kings fans. They're going to figure it out, and the quality wins. The quality wins when the competition rises. Should make you more impressed than playing down to competition against the Heat team missing everybody.
I hear you. So in your mind, like somebody who bets on these games, watches all these games, that game was more of something that you see a lot in basketball as opposed to the Kings are just not the team.
I mean, it was a red alert. You look at lines when you're looking at, your apps or whatever, and that was the one that I had circled. This line is way too big. They are overvaluing some of the recent success of the Kings, but also undervaluing that's what the Heat do. They come to play no matter who's on that roster, and Eric Spoelstra is one of the best in the business, and they are fighting tooth and nail in that Eastern Conference to not just win their division, but to not be in the play-in. So to me, it felt like also there's this dead cat bounce narrative as well that always happens when guys get suspended or a coach has been, missing for a game because of whatever, whether there's like a technical or they have health issues. There's a dead cat bounce element for the Heat where you're like, okay, they're missing everyone, bet the Heat.
Who do you think are the true contenders in the West?
Denver, Minnesota, and the Clippers.
Not there with the Thunder yet.
I think the Thunder are really good, and they're very gritty. The one issue that I have with the Thunder is their size. Is what are they going to do when they match up with guys like Jokic or Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns in a 7-game series? They didn't go out and get a backup big that I felt like they needed for versatility when you have different matchups, right? That's, to me, what matters the most in the playoffs is being able to change who you're playing and be able to go big or small and compete with whoever you're up against. And that versatility is something that Denver has. That's something that Minnesota has. But that's not something that OKC has. I'd love to be wrong. I love OKC. They're one of my favorite teams. But I feel like, okay, if your second best player is a rookie, can you be a contender?
Do you look at anybody in the Eastern Conference as a contender outside of Boston?
Yeah, I think Philly. I know that Philly's down.
Really?
I think Philly's down bad right now. And so, and I'm thinking about it like bets, right? I'm not thinking like, okay, this is a high likelihood scenario. But if Embiid comes back with 2 weeks to go and he actually can get into form, This is a team that's added depth, they've added shooting, and they've got a lot of versatility in their roster. Like, remember when, and I don't know why I love Nick Batum, maybe because he played for the Blazers and I know what he can do and I know how Ty Lue used him. And I could see Nick Nurse using Nick Batum as a 5. He can be played as a small ball 5. He can be played as a 3. His on-ball defense is really good. You've got a ton of role players. It's not just the Maxey and Embiid show. Getting Buddy Hield, I think, helps. I know we've talked about his decision-making, but I wouldn't worry about that. I think once Embiid comes back, Tobias Harris is going to re-emerge as who he was before. It's like they're just not a very good team without Embiid. But I think that they can make life very uncomfortable for Boston in a bunch of different ways. And Boston's scary because they're defensively, I think, the best team in the NBA. They've got the most defensive versatility. They have guys that can roam all over the floor or just D up ISO and make things really. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis has been incredible for them, but it's the same story with Boston. In winning time, do they play team basketball or do they play ISO basketball? And everything goes to hell in a handbasket, and it's just Jason Tatum shooting contested 30-footers. And I think a team like Philly can force them into doing things that they've done in a bunch of different years before.
Real quick, you don't think the Knicks are on that level? Healthy Knicks.
Healthy, yes, but I don't think they're going to be healthy. You hear Julius Randle. I mean, in terms of like making things difficult, Eastern Conference Finals is, I think, about the Knicks' ceiling. So contending is about that for me. It's like, can you go to the conference finals?
Right.
Healthy, I think they could go to the conference finals just based on where they could potentially be seeded and who could knock each other out before they get there. But OG Anunoby, we have no idea when he's coming back from that elbow surgery. Nobody's really said. They said 2 weeks, and that's a month ago. And there's been no sign of when he's coming back. Julius Randle's talking about having season-ending surgery on his shoulder. That's bad. Mitchell Robinson, he's sitting on the bench, so he's getting closer to arrival. But do we really think he's actually going to come back? Those 3 players, without them, they are cooked. They are not beating anybody. They could get bounced by Philly in the first round.
So no one?
Boston.
Cleveland. Are you saying what Cleveland?
Thank you.
Cleveland. They'll make things difficult. Defensively, the second best defense in the league right now, defensive rating. I think the third best net rating in the league. Offensively, they've been okay, middle of the pack. The one thing that you have to worry about is just like Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs. That's it. Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs. We saw it with Utah. He's very up and down. What are we getting from Evan Mobley? Is Evan Mobley going to shoot at all? How is Isaac Okoro? Because they had a lot of good role players stepping up right now in the regular season, and we know about the others when they go on the road. We saw what Cleveland did against the Knicks last year, and they had issues with the wing. Sam Merrill helps them a lot with shooting. Max Strus helps them a lot with shooting as well. But I worry about their offense kind of going cold at times. And just like Utah with Donovan Mitchell, when Cleveland goes cold, they go ice cold. But I like them.
Okay. All right. Now you can say why you hate Cleveland, who we're big fans of.
No, I got love for Cleveland, bro.
And JB Bickerstaff.
I got my Craig Elo throwback ready to go after the game. Stop playing with me.
No.
Hi, Rob Williams, Ron
He's
Harper,
just saying names.
Brad Daugherty.
Brad Daugherty.
You got a
Terrell Brandon, Bobby Sura, Danny Ferry, Ricky
Davis.
Davis,
Encyclopedia right now. He just got the Wikipedia up.
Mo Williams, Larry Hughes. You know I like Larry Hughes.
No, why would I know that?
Boobie Gibson.
Well, Boobie, everybody.
Delonte West.
Well, I like.
I feel like you said that sarcastically.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's your second foul today, because I feel like you said that as a joke, and that's
my favorite Delonte West moment was when, if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and look for it. When he and his friends are sitting waiting for, I think it's Taco Bell. I'm pretty sure it's Taco Bell. They're waiting for it, and they have a rap song about waiting for their food. And it's like, Chipotle, baby girl, Chipotle. And his friends in the back just like, Chipotle. Oh, if you haven't seen it, you guys don't seem like you've seen it. Delonte West Chipotle song. Find it on YouTube. It's about 8 minutes long.
Oh my God. Well, all right.
That's an EP.
I have to close my rugby, wrestling, basketball page and search Delonte West fast food freestyle.
Maybe Chipotle at the end.
No, I got it.
Man,
You
Chipotle
found
I
it?
got it.
delicious.
No, that
Yeah.
joint's 8 minutes long. Yep.
Yeah.
That
Keep
joint's
saying
8 minutes
Chipotle.
long.
That sounds delicious.
Thanks for making time for us. Your hair looks terrific. It was worth
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I appreciate you guys going to break for me so that we could go as long as we needed to. I appreciate Kenny stacking some water, getting himself appropriately moisturized.
Yep. He's ready.
My water,
He's
baby. I'm
back.
back.
He's
I'm
back,
back,
in the
baby.
game.
I got my son a shooting gun, a Dr. Dish.
Don't know what that means. That means
So
nothing.
you
to
can
me.
look it up, Google it, Google the price, and we'll know how Kenny Caraway rolls. You got to get to work. Thank you so much for look at the Odyssey buildings there.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Brand new.
It's don't look as good as ours.
I'm about to say the same thing.
Don't look as good as ours. But
You
have a
guys
great
have the best
day.
one though.
Isn't it? It's fire, right?
My mom keeps asking me if I'm moving to Sacramento.
Come on now.
Come on now.
Come on now.
Mom, I said, Mom, I don't think there's a full-time spot for me. But for now, we'll do this once a week, kid, and we'll try to get ourselves closer to the West Coast.
We're going to make it happen.
I'm with that. Yeah, I'm with that.
Love y'all.